Today I'm going to tell you about what to make of Bookie and the safeties in Oklahoma secondary following the West Virginia game, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, we're going to talk about the secondary and Bookie and Delaren Turner-Yell and Robert Barnes. And you saw the game against West Virginia. Now, I need to say, upon watching the review, I was wrong about the way that Trey Norwood was playing in the scheme and the coverages. He was actually pretty good. And Lincoln Riley also said that on Monday. He said, look, our corners probably played the best that they played all season. Trey Norwood, to him, might have had his best game in a Sooner jersey. Now, that's good if your safeties are playing well. Now, there was one route concept for which West Virginia, and Jake Spavital, offensive coordinator at West Virginia, gets a lot of credit for this, was just T-fying on Oklahoma repeatedly. And it started in the first drive, the first series. And I'm going to show you this, and we're going to break down some scheme here, okay? This is the play and formation for which Oklahoma got torched on the 41-yard grab by David Sills. Now, at the line here, you can see from a defensive standpoint, Oklahoma has Trey Brown lined up over number 1. They have Bookie 7 yards deep lined up over number 2. Will Grier sees the single safety high. That's Delaren Turner-Yell. And you can look at everybody's eyes here. You see Trey Brown has his eyes on number 1. Bookie has 3 responsibilities here. He has his eyes on the quarterback because his first job as a safety is to play run. He's also got eyes on number 2, which he's lined up over the top. And if this was zone, he has to watch number 1 because if that guy goes vertical, that becomes his guy in a pattern matching scheme. Before the snap, Will Grier saw the matchup. He saw a 6'4" wide receiver lined up over a 5'8" safety. And yeah, we're going to go after that. So he makes the check at the line. And number 1 breaks inside. Trey Brown ran with him. And David Sills took a go route. And because Bookie's technique says, I watch the quarterback to see for run and drop your hips and go with number 2 if he gets vertical because you have to go with him. Nothing gets over your head. By the time he's able to make that decision, David Sills had a running start at him, and you're asking Bookie to drop his hips and then make up ground. Because remember, he's sort of backpedaling, but David Sills is in a full sprint. Now, at any level, asking a safety or a corner to do that is nearly impossible because you're asking for the kind of speed that exists in maybe 5 or 6 people, and not a whole lot of those folks play safety. And this doesn't have as much to do with being short or being slow as it does you're in between a rock and a hard place. And Will Grier in this play did it perfectly. He held Delaren Turner-Yell's eyes just long enough to where he could not break on the ball to help with Bookie over the top, so David Sills has an easy 41-yard grab to the house. And this route concept with a big wide receiver lined up over a safety in the slot was destroying Oklahoma all night. It wasn't just David Sills and it wasn't just Bookie. It was also Robert Barnes. It was also Delaren Turner-Yell. And at one point, it was also Caleb Kelly. Now, how do you defend this? Well, the way that I would defend this is doing a lot of what Oklahoma doesn't do, which is bring Bookie down and play a little bump and run. Because, yeah, maybe you won't be able to keep him from getting off the line, but you can make it more difficult. And you're able to run with him because you have more or less the same running head start as he would have. So you can stay in his back pocket, especially if you have any sort of speed. And Bookie does have some sort of speed. So I think this is a concept for which Oklahoma could continue to get torched unless they're able to teach Delaren Turner-Yell to roll over into the coverage and just give help. But I don't think that's what they ought to do. I think if you're going to run man, and this was man, bring Bookie down, give him a fighter's chance of running and hand fighting with David Sills, and do that football thing that we all want folks to do. So what does that mean for Oklahoma going forward? It means that your safeties are young. It means they're true freshmen. It means Delaren Turner-Yell and Bookie had perhaps their worst games, but they're going to get better and they're going to learn from this. And I'm sure that Ruffin McNeil and Kerry Cooks have got together to say, hey, we can't continue to put him in this sort of bind because that's a schematic thing. That's gotten really nothing to do with technique because he's doing it the way they asked him to do it. It's another reason why we hate these soft coverages, really, because giving this 7-yard head start is asking folks to take advantage of your safeties and corners in a way for which a lot of other folks would try to minimize that. And your job as a coordinator, as a position coach, is to put your players in the best position to succeed. I would point you to a guy like Kenneth Murray Jr., for which a lot of folks still don't think is a great middle linebacker, but I do. He's got 133 tackles this season. He's averaging 11 a game. Curtis Bolton has 120 this season. He's averaging 10 a game. I get that those two guys are integral to everything you're doing. But Kenneth Murray Jr. had never played the position before last year, and you can see a similar thing with Bookie, and I think he can make the jump in 2019. As for 2018, you're going to get that guy killed. He's going to get torched, no matter who the nickel is. If it's Pat Fields, if it's Bookie, if it's Justin Broyles, that guy's going to have a hard time defending in this technique. You have to bring him down, you have to let him play bump and run, and you have to let him use his strengths to combat a wide receiver. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.